we always do about this time. Wake up. We're going to be covering Vigil number 513 at Freedom Corner in Washington, D.C., outside the D.C. Gulag. This is J6 News Updates and Chat. We're going to find out about the targeted Americans. Who's getting targeted by J6 today? Turns out it's who they hate most. So I'm glad you could join me, Patriots. Hey, how you doing, Carol Burton? Hello. Who the back door in the house? I got a chat today. I got viewers. My screen's working. All right. Hey, Cora. How are you? I'm in the winter wonderland of Greenfield Industrial Park. Keep checking on me, Deb. Keep checking on me. Unemployment. I can see you today, Deb, for freedom. I got chat. Hi, Jane Febo. Thanks for listening. Valerie Lawn. C4 Freedom. Hello. All right, we got some all-star Patriots in the house already. It's good to see you, Patriots. I think this is a prettier scene to look at. I don't know, how's the sound over here? What's up, Ridgeline? How's it going? Oh, Jericho. Gaze upon this for a little bit. I think we're going to walk on out to that island here eventually. Okay, Deb for Freedom. I looked at the chat yesterday. I finally found a video with the chat on it. It was funny what you guys were all saying in there. Really interesting too, you know. Yeah, I was kind of rambling on there. I hope you guys don't mind. I got a lot to say. Hi, Sunkist. Hey, Mark, how you doing, man? Yeah, and one of the things I was noticing in the chat yesterday, there was some confusion on the Bureau of Prisons jurisdictions. Like, all these guys are in different prisons, and one of you was asking if the contractor prisons are the prisoners for profit or whatever, the money-making prisons are in the system or not. And I'm not sure about this, but I think the way it works is that once they've been sentenced here, they're sentenced under federal laws. So they got to go to a BOP facility, and they have to. So they may contract that out to like a regional jail, like Northern Neck Patriots or Northern Neck Regional Jail was. That is a jail that's owned by 3 or 4 counties together, and it was contracted out by the BOP to hold these guys while they were awaiting trial. But like Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, I don't know, there is a lot of investigation we could be doing on that, and there is a lot of overlapping layers of who's in charge of what, and that's what the one guy was Taylor was talking about, I think, last night. Yes, Silly, I hope you're doing okay. I heard you're having some brain fog still from the concussion and passing out a little bit sometimes, so we're praying for you, Silly. Hi, Docs and Grandma. Hi, Sherry Thomas. Everybody's driving, maybe. Hi, Priscilla. So yeah, we're praying for you, Silly. We're praying for Kim's brother David. I don't know if anybody's got word on David or not, but he's not doing well. And we're praying. I'm praying every day for you, Patriots. All right, so we can talk while we're looking at this stuff here. Out of Freedom Corner last night on Vigil number 513 in a row without a break. Our rain or shine Patriots immediately had to set the canopies up, and because it was raining. And Dwight said a great prayer last night. Nicole mentioned about Kim's brother David. Man, he's been in the last stages of cancer. Yeah, he's not doing well, and Kim is David's caretaker, and that it just gets so overwhelming. And I just can't believe what a patriot Kim is. Kim has literally had an influence on every single live streamer on that corner at Freedom Corner, man. She created my watermarks here. She's Troopers mod with all the links, and I know she's helping Sherry out with the Sapphire Patriot channel. She has just had such an influence on the live streamers, and goes way back to, I think, even the convoy. And we thank you, Kim, for what you've been doing. It is not unnoticed. It is necessary, and you are the one that stood up and just did it. Just made it happen, and we respect you much for that, Kim. Very much. And we're praying for David's relief from David's pain that he's going through, and we are praying for you, Kim, too. What an outstanding patriot you are. We love you so much. Awesome patriot, Kim. And Nicole said we were praying for David, and Sherry got up and said a little thing about David also, which is awesome. And we can rest assured that we all meet again. In the end, we are eternal beings. This is the first death. It's temporary, and we will meet again. So we can look forward to that and relief from the pain that David is in right now. Hi, Denari. Yeah, I thought this was a real pretty spot. They got it all lit up. It's an industrial park, but man, they built these nice lakes. They got ducks here and stuff, and bridges, and they put lights up. I think they do 4th of July here too. It's really cool. So the first call of the night came in from Dominic Box from inside the Gulag. I think he had Chris Quaglin on standby, but I think Dominic was doing most of the talking there. And the topic of conversation there was Jack Smith, the gut punch he just took from the Supreme Court. He's trying to raise Donald Trump's insurrection trial for the election so they could take Donald Trump out. And the Supreme Court said, not doing it that. Other shenanigans or something here. Yeah, I'm a rogue mods. It's Sunkissed. No, I just stepped up for Sherry. Looks like we're getting some transmission issues here. I'm going to move around a little bit. I'll wait till I get back on here. Yeah, President Trump's on the ballot. Looks like we're losing network here, Patriots. So Dominic was talking about the Jack Smith trial, the Jack Smith case, and what he's going to try next. Also talked about that sham J6 committee that they had in D.C. a year ago that they broadcast on primetime TV, just like a mini series. It was theater, political theater, man. And Dominic brought up FBI had feds in the crowds. Every group had feds in the crowds. Undercover, a couple of hundred of them that we know of right now. So if they busted 1,300 J6ers right now, and 200 of them were feds, undercover feds, I can imagine that that's 1 out of every 6 people was a fed. You know, that's kind of like the numbers from that Michigan governor's assassination attempt farce that they did not too long ago. And then the FBI had people not only cover in the crowds, but months and possibly years prior to that, and had inside people in each of these groups, inside the Oath Keepers, and inside the Proud Boys, and the 3 Percenters, and a bunch of other and smaller political groups that were at the Capitol also. Totally infiltrated, man. These people can come in, they can act like your friends, and then turn around and stab you in the back, man. These are demonic people. And they think they're doing a good job for some reason. They're collecting a paycheck, that's for sure. And a lot of times these guys, Dominic was saying, gets into the court and you got some evidence that you feel is important, and you're not even allowed to show it. They're just selectively editing what evidence you can admit into court. And they make the determination of whether or not it's a valid piece of information or not to your court. Hey, Jay Jones. So basically what Dominic Box is saying, we are left with, in the end, a DOJ that is 100% corrupt and tyrannical. And I would have to agree with him on that. Next phone call was Mark Brew. He came in. He was talking about the Epic Times and how the Epic Times is almost doing a disservice to the political movement by normalizing this banana republic behavior that has been going on. When you got courts that are selecting what evidence they can present, you withhold prosecution evidence from people before a trial, you hold people in jail for years before you actually bring them to trial. All this is stuff that banana republics do. All this is stuff that tyrannical governments do. And some of the articles that Mark Brew was reading in the Epic Times were kind of just making it seem like this is all normal. Like this is not unusual, or just mentioning it the whole time and not picking it out for the incredibly huge injustice that it really is. And the pace of the justice that's happening there too is like really slow. These guys have been in jail for 3 years now. They haven't had a trial yet to get onto the enchanted island here. Look at that shot. Not good network. It's probably the weather or something today. So Mark Brew went into a whole political tirade about the consent of the governed. We are consenting to a government here in this country, and that government is not being followed. So it does create problems. It creates problems. At what time do we end it? How do we end it? How do we not have a violent ending to it? What do we create in the aftermath? What solves the problems? These are all real deep conversations that a lot of the patriots are having on these phone calls lately. It's like sitting in a room with Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson sometimes on that Freedom Corner, listening to these guys talk about political theory and stuff, and what types of governments work and what types of governments don't work. And then one Bible verse that Mark Brew brought up was Hosea 4:6, and that is the Bible verse that I'm sure we've all heard before, that says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And there's more to that verse, and it basically comes to the point where you have rejected the laws that God gave you, and you have decided to follow man's laws. And since you ignored God and his justice and his law and his testimonies and his covenant, that knowledge that you should have had is not there, and you will be judged. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And then there was other talk about the Second Amendment from Mark Brew and Tammy, and why aren't we allowed to protect ourselves? The Second Amendment is very clear about that, yet they're taking our constitutional rights away. And inch by inch, we're finding, here we are. They're almost all gone right now. James Grant got on the phone after I got that all mixed up as a moderator. My first big moderator fumble there, by the way. I told everyone in Sherry's chat this was Taylor John Attackers, but actually it was James Grant talking. And he was talking about his case. He needs this video and I spent time this morning trying to find it on YouTube, but it's a slow process, man. And it's all just the YouTube videos that are left, and I don't know. It was impossible for me to find it. I looked through an hour worth of video, didn't see it. And it's not an easy task. I'm not gifted in that department. So James he's had his trial already, and he's awaiting his sentencing, or his verdict. The verdict from his trial will be coming out on January 4th. And this is what he needs this video for. Is that something that he can show the judge that he wasn't there to overthrow the government or create violence, because this video shows him telling people to not break the windows. Don't break things up there. He was up on that balcony outside the Senate offices inside the Capitol building. And if we can get that video to him, I hope somebody's got more talent than I do, because I pretty much failed on that aspect. Basically, I mean, you can get the details. It's in Debt for Freedom's short video on that phone call. And then we got a call from Taylor John Attackers, who is, I think, just like Thomas Jefferson, man. This guy is a deep thinker. He was a political science major, I believe, in college. And every time he calls up, he points out something new. And last night, he had some facts about 50% of all the J6ers that have been busted so far are self-employed. The average age of every J6er is 38 years old, a man with a nuclear family, and usually somewhat religious. So what we're seeing is that is the target citizen that they're going after on the J6 issue. And we knew from 6 months ago when the DOJ got funded an additional $100 million, I believe it was, by Congress, that they have a list of 2,000 names of other people that they still want to go for. And that's the target range: 50% self-employed, 38 years old, you got a strong family, you're a patriot, you love your country. That's who this justice system is coming after, which just declares to the universe what dirt bags are in charge right now of the DOJ. It's incredible, man. Taylor also mentioned a book that he read, and I heard I think Robert Morse mentioned this book. I've heard this book mentioned more than once from J6ers, and it's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's written by a guy named Victor Franco, and he was quoting from that book. It's a good read. If you guys are looking for a book to get with all your Christmas money, there's a good one to get, man. This is like the third J6er I've heard recommend this. I'm pretty sure it's on Robert Morse's website too, his recommended reading. Taylor was also mentioning that other J6ers that's on that list of 2,000 names that they haven't gotten yet are watching these Freedom Corner broadcasts, and I hope they're encouraged by it. I hope they see how inadequate we feel sometimes on these things, but I hope they see how diligent we are on these things, because I mean, we've been at it now for over a year. I know we were a year and a half late in getting there, but we're here, and the longer this goes on, the more atrocious it gets, but at the same time, the more evil and wickedness is exposed in our country. And basically at the very end, Taylor was making a point of just don't offer any extra information. A lot of these J6ers have got stories of how undercover FBI guys just buddied up to them, pretended like they were their friends at work, or just a random customer that came in, or running into them at a restaurant. And it turns out these were backstabbing narcs, and you don't need to give them information. I mean, don't help them investigate you, basically. Anything you can and say will be used against you in a court of law. Which, by the way, I found out is no longer a required thing that they tell you when you're arrested. So I don't know who took that law away. I thought that was a good one, when the cops remind you that anything you say can and will be used against you. Cops no longer have to say that when they're arresting people. Yeah, KA, Trump is back on the ballot, and he is back on the ballot in Colorado. Okay, well, I'd like to see how that unfolds, man. I thought you were talking about Michigan. Michigan overruled the thing about being on the ballot. He is on the ballot in Michigan this year. Mickey got on the microphone after Taylor Jonatakis' phone call and was talking about how the DOJ is definitely going after a certain class of people, and that is your typical patriot, strong, able, motivated patriot. That's who they're going after. And they're going after them with extreme tactics. The daybreak raid, so the whole neighborhood sees. Their whole reason, what they're trying to do is terrorize people. They are the terrorists. They have the equipment to terrorize us. They drive vehicles into the front door. They got machines that crawl under your house. They got drones up in the air. They got helicopters. And that is our very own DOJ and FBI with the full okay from FJB's government, man. All right, KA, we're all supporting Trump. That's the thing. There's nobody else that we want, man. We can stop all the talk about everything else. If you don't want to get on the Trump boat, the Trump train, I don't know what to tell you. Go vote for FJB, but you're if you can stand that. Rudd 1RN92 says, has anybody watched Capital Punishment? I heard of it before, but finally watched it on Rumble last night. All right. It has a part 2 coming out. Yeah, Jeff Sable, I read a list off of 17 different documentaries that are out there right now, and the number is climbing as we speak, I'm sure. All documentaries with valid information in them about the 2020 election and the January 6th, 2021, whatever you want to call it, riot, planned riot, Hollywood production. Vicky was saying about they're going above and beyond by, they're calling these sentences of deterrent, which means it's an extra stiff one to send a signal to everybody. And then they're taking misdemeanor charges and enhancing them, like within the court. After the prosecutors bring them, they are enhanced by the judges. So that sounds more like vengeance to me than justice. Justices are supposed to take an oath. They're not supposed to get involved in politics. They're all breaking their oaths, even if they did, if they actually did do a valid oath of office, because we're finding out there's a lot of that going on too. Yeah, KA, my network isn't that hot right here. It started off really great, like peak numbers, and now it's just going up and down and diving. I'll try a different spot. Let's see, we got the gazebo. Ooh, how nice. Well, we got a little light in here now, it's getting dark. That looks a little better network. So basically at the end of Mickey's tirade there, we just want our government to show us what happened there. You know, why all the secrecy? Why hasn't the video security tapes come out yet? Why don't they just show us what happened? And us Americans can make our own decisions. This country. The governing of this country, I should say. And then finally, we did get the last phone call from Jeff Sable. He was, after they sang the national anthem and sounded awesome doing it, he was celebrating the fact that Michigan Supreme Court overruled the suit that a real pleasant sounding group of people brought to that court to get Trump off the ballot has been rejected. And then there's this information now about Raffensperger in Georgia. The Secretary of State of Georgia is saying that he will not testify on the stand under oath about the voting machines that he is in charge of. And there's information on these voting machines that's coming out that they are hackable, and Raffensperger does not intend to put the corrected software into these election machines until after the 2024 election. So really, they're not gonna have a fair election in Georgia in 2024 unless somebody gets involved here, like we the people. Jeff Sable also watched a couple of these Tucker Carlson interviews where he's interviewing a military dude who is talking about these entities that our government has had negotiations with. And this, all of a sudden, this information is out from a lot of different sources right now. So chances are that this is a psyop. And even if it's true, we know it's not true because we know that there are no such thing as aliens. If it is some type of a spiritual entity in this world, we can look to the scriptures and figure out who it is. And I'm hearing information coming out from physicists and people from CERN that they have also claimed things about getting to a level and meeting entities and all kinds of weird stuff. So we know that something big's going to happen in 24. They can't just go to the election unless somehow or another Trump is actually eliminated from the election. And they're going to do something to rig it. No doubt about it. Jeff Sable also heard a story about some protesters along a highway in Los Angeles and that they hosed them off the highway. I didn't see that story. All news of the day. All news of the day. And then I think we heard a little bit from Chris Worrell there at the very end of the phone call. It was kind of breaking up though. And he was saying about how he's not getting medical treatment. I mean, and in his records, there has been a lot of contentious issue around Chris Worrell's medical treatment, where judges found 2 or 3 different the jail guilty of not doing it. Then the BOP was there, Department of Corrections. There is a lot going on with Chris Worrell and these medical issues that he has, and he feels, man, that it is not being paid attention to. So let's keep a close watch on Chris Worrell. 32 documents just on his case, and I couldn't look every single one of them up, but early on there was some contentious things going on with the people who are in charge of Chris Worrell not getting him the medical treatment that he needs. So that was it for Freedom Corner, night 513 in a row. God bless you, Patriots. I think we're broadcasting a little better from up here. Can you guys hear the ducks? All right, so getting into some news. Hey, small water guy, I did have a great Christmas. Could have been better, but unfortunately we couldn't have our favorite president removed or anything like that. That would have been a nice gift. Get FJB removed. Oh yeah, that one is kind of red, white, and blue over there, Death for Freedom. Yeah, we got ducks flying overhead now, right? Or geese. Yeah, we got geese flying overhead. So in other news, what we got, the House Oversight and House Judiciary Committees are now investigating if FJB attempted to influence or obstruct Hunter's cooperation with the impeachment inquiry, which kind of adds a whole nother level, you know. Now we got the impeachment inquiry going on. Well, now they're looking at, did FJB cause or make or influence Hunter to react to that subpoena that he blew off, and if so, why, and was FJB involved with that whole saga? Because the news is making a big thing about the difference between Hunter and FJB. If Hunter broke the law, it doesn't mean FJB broke the law. They're saying that over and over and over again, but that we're getting to the bottom of it. And actually, Patriots, FJB isn't the end goal here, and we'll see about that. I'm thinking, FJB, you can come forward right now, man, and really do a service to this country after all the the crap you just put us through, if you came forward right now, FJP, things would go much smoother, much better. The next election of 2020 was stolen by a 44,000 vote margin in Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia. That's how close it actually was. When you get down to how the electoral votes are counted, it was down to 44,000 votes in those 3 states. And we have found multiple times that amount of fraud in those states, and it has not been addressed yet by our Congress. There was also a lot of things reported about death threats to the Colorado Supreme Court the day after they came out with that decision to keep Trump off the ballot. Turns out all of those were bogus. Denver Police Department responded to 1 complaint, and it turned out to be a hoax report. CNN reported there was no specific threats to the Colorado Supreme Court. So for 2 days, 3 days, what was it? They lied to us and said people were giving the justices of this Colorado Supreme Court death threats, and they were not. It was a made-up story. Made-up story. And we should all keep in mind that liberalism is the useful idiots in this whole thing. And liberalism is just not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. It is meant to be mocked, because liberalism is telling people that are accepting these beliefs that men can have babies, there's many genders, that cow farts are destroying the earth, and that you can change the weather with taxes and by eating bugs, literally. There is no, this is what they're telling you, and these people are voting on those issues, and that's what we're dealing with. It is just meant to be mocked and laughed at and ridiculed right out of town. Nobody can take that seriously if you got 2 brain cells to rub together, man. There can be no compromise with lunacy without becoming a lunatic yourself, man. So yeah, and then I read some more about Raffensperger not going to testify, which is just mind-blowing, man. We employ this guy to be in a republic, to be the guy in charge of all that stuff, and now he won't even tell us what he does or what he did or what he can't do. So Patriots, I'll leave you with this. There's 44 and a half weeks left to that next rigged election. What are we going to do? Are we on God's path? Are we on our own path? Are we on Donald Trump's path? Where are we right now, Patriots? Because we got 44 and a half weeks, and that next election is right on schedule for getting rigged again. And before now and then, I am open to the influence of God to open a path up that He will lay down, a path to victory. And as long as we're looking back to the one and holy God, He promises in the book of Deuteronomy, He promises all throughout the scriptures that He will hear us. If we call out to Him, He will hear our voice from wherever He scattered us to. That if we wake up somehow and call out to Him, that He will reveal Himself to you, that He will come to your rescue. So Patriots, that's all I got tonight. I hope you enjoyed the scenery. This was really cool. I'm finding spots all over the place now. I can do it in the dark here, you know. So thanks for stopping in, Patriots, and check out Freedom Corner tonight. We'll see you there in the chat. Oh, dang it, Cindy, you just got here? Oh, man. We're just signing out. So God bless you, Patriots. We'll see you at Freedom Corner tonight. This is Jericho, over and out.